Welcome back. There have been 65 drownings in the Great Lakes so far this year, 31 of those happening in Lake Michigan. The Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project is working to make sure no more families are impacted by a drowning tragedy. And they have a new strategy for your safety. Dave Benjamin, the co-founder and executive director of the Great Lakes Surf Rescue Project, is here. Dave, thanks for coming in. How did you get involved in water safety?
Well, I've been swimming in Lake Michigan going on 55 years now. When I was 40 years old, I was winter surfing Lake Michigan. I had a bad wipeout, and unfortunately the leash, the Velcro didn't hold, and I instantly panicked when I was in an impact zone and my board was getting tossed into the rocks and kind of shortened it up. But when I was holding my last breath, thinking this was it for me, kind of accepting that this was the fate, I stopped fighting and I actually floated back up to the surface because I'm wearing a wetsuit that had some buoyancy to it. And then when I got to the surface, I just breathed. Right, and just stay at the surface and float. I had a little bit of, flotation aid, but that's how I got involved in it. I never had a problem in the water, and I started getting very, observant of all the drownings that were happening in the media about the Great Lakes, and started, networking, and that's how it evolved.
Yeah, and that float thought process is part of this new rip current and drowning survival strategy that you guys have come up with. You kind of want to take the old rule and turn it on its head.
Yeah, so the old rule is if you're drowning, caught in a rip current, don't panic, swim parallel to shore. And, we didn't create flip, float, and follow, but we've been advocating it since 2012. And there was some resistance to it that, do nothing and float. But really what we want people to do is float first. So if you're drowning, flip over your back and float, keep your head above water, calm yourself down from the panic, conserve your energy, and then follow a safe path out of the water. And now, over the years, it's kind of evolved where other organizations have been adopting this strategy. The United Kingdom came up with Float to Live. Australia has Float to Survive. New Zealand is Float First. And so we're hoping that this really finally starts to catch on, that float first should be the strategy in any drowning situation.
Because even if you aren't a strong swimmer, you should be able to flip over and float, right? Is that the thought process?
That is a thought process, and the research behind it is the American Red Cross did a nationwide survey and testing, 5 basic water skills. So 80% of Americans say they know how to swim. Less than 54% could survive a water emergency. The smallest, least amount of swimming skill was 25 yards in a pool. Right, so if someone's in open water in a rip current, you're telling them to swim, more than half of them won't be able to swim 25 yards, right? And so we should probably change this strategy to float first, exit strategy second.
It's startling the number of drownings that we've reported here, and some when it's nighttime, red flag conditions. Are swimmers always warned of the dangers of the water at the time? I mean, I know on Lake Michigan we've got lifeguards this time of year, but on the other Great Lakes, I mean, is it possible that people are just unaware of the water condition when they get in?
The way we have surmised it is that water safety is not common sense. Water safety is actually specialized training that very few people are getting, and we really should have water safety in the school curriculum. So it's standard in schools today to have fire drills, tornado drills, school shooter drills, even earthquake drills, but very little water safety education. So that's really where we should, spend a huge emphasis of time, is putting this in the public education program so we can get the masses. Other contact points could be new parents in birthing classes or in driver's ed even, because this is an opportunity when these kids are going to get a driver's license where they can go much farther and faster from adult supervision without any water safety education. And when we look at the research, 50% of all drownings for 15 to 19-year-olds happen in open water. Right, and they're going there without adult supervision in a vehicle with their friends, so that's really where we should concentrate as well.
Well, Dave, that is just a great mindset, and I hope that they do introduce that curriculum, because what a great way that would be to teach our kids.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for all of your hard work on this issue.